Rinchan, the son of a Buddhist Ladakhi chief, moved into Kashmir Valley along with his followers and captured the throne of Kashmir in 1320. The Kashmir Valley had an overwhelming Hindu population, and he expressed his desire to convert to the dominant Shaivaite tradition of Hinduism. But the priests of the kingdom opposed his request because he had just killed their Hindu Prime Minister Ramchandra. Instead, now he converted to Islam and became the first Muslim ruler of the valley. He adopted the Muslim name of Sadruddin. This started the long process which ultimately led to Islamic Kashmir by the beginning of the 14th century. Kashmir had remained Buddhist for a very long period in history, and the valley played a major role in the spread of Dhamma into Central Asia and China. Before answering the question of why and how the Buddhist Kashmir became Islamic, let's first explore how Buddhism was introduced into Kashmir. Buddhism was first introduced into the Kashmir Valley in the 3rd century BC by Emperor Ashoka of the Mauryan Empire based in Patliputra. This was the direct result of the 3rd Buddhist Council, which was held under the patronage of Emperor Ashoka. During the council, it was decided that the kingdom will send Buddhist missions to different parts of the world to spread the words of Buddha. Monk Madhyantika was deputed to spread the Dhamma in Kashmir and Gandhar region in the northwest of the country. For the next several centuries, Kashmir and Gandhar remained illuminated with the yellow robes of Buddhist monks. Ashoka constructed more than 500 monasteries and stupas for the Buddhist monks of Kashmir. Kalhan, in his Rastarangini, mentions that Ashoka built Srinagari, a beautiful city in the valley. This city was situated near present-day Srinagar, the capital of Jammu and Kashmir. During the later Mauryan period, several monks belonging to the Sarvastivada sect of Theravada went towards North India. They migrated from Magad and settled in Mathura, Gandhar and Kashmir regions. They became known as Sarvastivadins because of their fundamental doctrine of Sarvasti, which means all things exist. Kashmir was their main center of activities. Sanskrit was the language of their scriptures. The Sarvastivadins had their own canon in Sanskrit. The death of Ashoka led to the collapse of Mauryan power over Gandhar and adjoining areas in northwestern India. Seeing the opportunity, the Greeks invaded and established their settlements in the northwestern parts of India, which were called the Indo-Greek kingdoms. About 30 Indo-Greek kings ruled over Afghanistan and northwestern India. Out of them, Menander or King Melinda, who ruled during the 2nd century BC, was regarded as the greatest and most powerful ruler. He converted to Buddhism and played a major role in the spread of Dhamma. Later, after ruling for 3 decades, he handed over his kingdom to his son and became a Buddhist monk. He is also famous for his discussion with the Buddhist sage Nagsena. He held the discussion with a Buddhist monk at Harwan, which is situated only 12 kilometers from present-day Srinagar. Harwan was later also the site of the 4th Buddhist Council held during the 1st century CE. Kashmir witnessed the golden period of Buddhism during the Kushan period. Kanishk was the greatest of the Kushan rulers. He ruled during the 1st century CE from his capital city of Purushpur, which is now called Peshawar. Kanishk was a great patron of Buddhism and occupies an important place in the history of Buddhism. He also patronized the 4th Buddhist Council, which was held in Kashmir. Famous Chinese pilgrim Xuanzang says that Kanishk came to Kashmir to attend the council, and he built a Buddhist monastery in Kashmir for the accommodation of the Buddhist monks. He also gave the kingdom of Kashmir as a gift to the Buddhist Sangha. During the Kushan period, Buddhism was the predominant religion in Kashmir. Kashmir became the center of Mahan Buddhism and played a major role in the spread of Dhamma to Central Asia and China. The first decline of Buddhism started after the end of Kushan period. The first major threat to Dhamma came from Mirkul, who was a Hun king. He ruled between 515 to 540 AD and destroyed several monasteries and massacred the Buddhist populations. But he was not able to destroy the Dhamma completely, as Buddhism again flourished after the end of his rule. By the 8th century, Kashmir has become an important political power in India during the rule of the Karkota dynasty. After absorbing the adjoining kingdoms of Rajapuri, Takshila, and several parts of modern-day Punjab in Pakistan. Karkota dynasty ruled the Kashmir Valley between the 7th and 9th centuries. Lalitaditya, one of the most famous kings of the Karkota dynasty, built several Hindu temples and Buddhist monasteries in the valley, including the famous Martand temple. Karkota kings were devotees of Lord Shiva. Buddhism lost its predominance in Kashmir during this period to Shaivism, which was now the predominant religion of the valley. The Karkota dynasty was followed by Utpal dynasty of the 9th and 10th centuries, and this was followed by Lohar dynasty, which ruled between 1003 and 1320 AD. The Lohar dynasty proved to be the last Hindu dynasty in the Kashmir Valley. They successfully defended Kashmir from repeated Islamic invasions. However, during the later phase of Lohar dynasty, Kashmir faced economic decline, which also affected the Buddhist monastic institutions. In the 13th century, the Kashmir Valley was predominantly Hindu, and now a very small population of Muslim converts also started to emerge in the valley, with Buddhism surviving in small pockets in Kashmir. The first attempts to conquer Kashmir by Islamic invaders were undertaken by Muhammad bin Qasim, who had already invaded Sindh in the western part of India. He was not successful in Kashmir and returned without any success. The second attempt was made by another Arab general named Junaid, who was defeated by the great Kashmiri king Lalitaditya during the 8th century. Several other attempts were made by Arabs during the 8th century, but they were defeated by the Karakota kings. After the Arabs, it was the Ghaznavids who attempted to invade Kashmir. Mahmud of Ghazni advanced towards Kashmir and tried to enter the Kashmir Valley, but his advance was resisted at the strong Loharkot fort, which he besieged for a month. He had to return because of the heavy snowfall. Mahmud again invaded Kashmir in September of 1021 AD, but had to again retreat because of heavy snowfall. After Sultan Mahmud's unsuccessful attempts, Kashmir witnessed a period of peace until 1320 AD, when a Mongol chief named Zulchu invaded Kashmir. Suhadev, the last Lohar king, failed to stop his advance, as he was very unpopular among his subjects. Kashmir was going through a period of economic decline, and heavy taxes by the king had created a general unrest among the masses. Zulchu's invasion created chaos, and King Suhadev fled to Kishtwar, where he died after some time. Ramchandra, the Prime Minister of Kashmir, tried to establish order with the help of Rinchan, who was the son of a Ladakhi Buddhist chief. Rinchan had fled from Ladakh after an unsuccessful rebellion against his uncle and had taken refuge in Kashmir, where he was employed by Ramchandra. He had very high aspirations and had set his eyes on the throne. Seeing the opportunity, he got Ramchandra murdered and occupied the throne of Kashmir in 1320. To gain the acceptance of local Kashmiris, he married Kota Rani, the daughter of Ramchandra, and made Rawanchandra, son of Ramchandra, his commander-in-chief. The Kashmir Valley had an overwhelming Hindu population, and he expressed his desire to convert to the dominant Shaivaite tradition of Hinduism to gain acceptance of his subject. But Devasmin, the royal priest of the kingdom, opposed his request because he had just killed their Hindu Prime Minister Ramchandra. Instead, now he converted to Islam under the influence of Bulbul Shah, a Turkish Sufi, and became the first Muslim ruler of the valley. He adopted the Muslim name of Sadruddin. The very fact of the conversion of Buddhist Rinchan to Islam shows that Buddhism was no longer available as a power base, possibly not even as a religion of any significant number of households, though it might have stayed powerful in monasteries, whereas a large Muslim population has already grown in urban centers. Rinchan appointed Shah Mir as the Prime Minister of the kingdom. He ruled until he died in 1323 AD. Rinchan had a son named Haider by his queen Kota. Kota Rani became the queen after the death of Rinchan. In 1339 AD, Shah Mir captured the throne and killed the queen and his son Haider. He established the Shah Mir dynasty. Shah Mir started the process of Islamization, and now Islam was given royal patronage. However, Kashmir was still predominantly Hindu. He died in 1342 AD. Sufis like Sayyid Ali Hamdani, who were active in the valley during the 14th century, played very important roles in the Islamization of Kashmir. Another great force which played a major role in the spread of Islam in the valley was the Rishi order of Sufism, which was more tolerant towards the local Hindu and Buddhist population and played the role of a bridge between Hinduism, Buddhism, and Islam. Another bridge between these three major religions in the valley was Hindu mystics like Laleshwari or Lalla, who preached to the masses in the local Kashmiri language. Her verses are some of the earliest compositions of Kashmiri literature. She preached during the 14th century. Kashmir witnessed the cruel rule of Sikandar Shah or Sikandar Butshikan, who was the sixth king of Shahmir dynasty. He ruled between 1389 to 1413 AD. He undertook a large-scale massacre of the Hindu and whatever Buddhist population that had still survived in the valley. He destroyed several Hindu temples and Buddhist monasteries, which included the famous Martan temple, built in the 8th century by King Lalitaditya. He destroyed several Buddhist temples and statues of Buddha. According to Jona Raja, who was the Brahmin court poet of Zainul Abdin, Sikandar's successor, Sikandar Shah started the destruction of Hindu and Buddhist shrines till no idol remained, even in the privacy of people's home. His rule is also marked by forced conversions of the Hindu and Buddhist populations. Those who resisted converting were killed. Kashmir Valley was now predominantly Muslim, with a small population of Hindus. When Abul Fazl went to Kashmir, along with Mughal Emperor Akbar, he could not find any scholar of Buddhism in Kashmir. He could not figure out the time of disappearance of Buddhism in Kashmir, but he simply observes that it was long ago.